Hello guys, happy to see you again on PM Personality Profile. My guest tonight, very interesting personality. He is an international security and military relations consultant, a maritime security expert. Commodore Michael Kweku Addison, he's my guest tonight. He is also a motivational speaker and has inspired a lot of young people. Very excited to sit with you for this conversation. How are you? What have you been up to?
I'm fine, my dear lady. You have already said what I am. And since retiring, I have been at home. Before then, I used to do some consultation, and currently I'm representing my friends in UK as their local partner.
I certainly cannot start this conversation by not picking your thoughts on what is happening in Israel and the Israel and Palestinian war. What's your preliminary observation of what is happening there?
I believe that Israel currently is committing genocide because I cannot occupy your house for so many years, restricting your movement, restricting whatever you do, even restricting the level of education you can get without you at a point rebelling. The Palestinians have for a long time ask the Israelis to leave their territory and everybody stays within his bounds. But this has not worked because the powers that be, the Americans, are always in support of the Israelis. And the Palestinians are being supported by some Arab countries and some African countries. And some other countries like China, not directly, and others who are also supporting them. So Palestinians, to start with, are handicapped. And if one Israeli is killed by a Palestinian, they return the same force to take about 10 or 15 people, which is not right. And that has continued. So as the Palestinians now want to free themselves, the only way open to them is to find a way of getting into Israel. So you saw the method they used, because America has built an iron dome. So even when they fire the cartouches, it doesn't come down. It gets intercepted in the air. So the only option open to them, for them also to make their point and see that the world will listen to them, is to try and take the Israelis unaware. And this unawareness has resulted in what we see now. But if you look at it, you see that the Palestinians are not out to kill everybody. Why would they release some hostages? So far they've released about 4 or 5 of them. Why? Okay. They could have put them on the street like they did in Somalia, and killed them and dragged them on the street. That forced America out of Somalia. They could have done the same thing, but they will not do it. They said, we want you to stop and leave our territory, and we negotiate. Okay. So that is what we have now.
It's really a difficult situation they are facing right now. But what do you make of the ongoing debates that the UN Security Council has been preferential in the treatment of some nations? I mean, you want to put the Israel-Palestinian conflict, and you want to put Ukraine and Russia, and people say the treatment has not been same.
It hasn't, because when Russia invaded Ukraine, even though Russia had justification for doing that, the West started shouting that they've gone into Ukrainian territory and killed. But Russia has reasons, because Russia again had its interest to protect. When you come to the Lebanese, the Israeli-Palestinian issue, America didn't react in the same way. Rather, the president said on television that Israel has the right to defend itself. forgetting that Israel has no right to be on somebody's territory. So you see the double standards.
Yeah.
Now, the UN Secretary General a week ago said this should stop. We cannot contain this humanitarian disaster that is taking place. This is not war. I'm just quoting you. This is not war. This is carnage. Yeah. But America does not see it that way. The only thing America said, we will work to open a small gap for them, I think 4 hours every week or so, which is very bad. Because the people, 4 hours, what can pass? Humanitarian aid. Yeah. Now Israel has extended the bombing into hospitals and things. And between me and you know that Israel knows that the Palestinians have a lot of underground tunnels in Gaza and to other places. So bombing, Israel knows that they will kill very few of the Hamas people. But they will kill a lot of innocent people. It's now that the world is waking up to the situation and they are shouting that this should stop. So it makes me, I can't see a solution to this, because I had a conversation with an Israeli general, an Israeli major general. We were sitting and conversing. Then I asked him, when will you stop this war against these Palestinians and live as brothers and sisters? Do you know the answer he gave me? He says, when 2 children of a father are fighting, who can stop them?
Oh, really?
That's what the general told me. So it means they know that they are brothers.
Definitely.
And where is the father to stop them? Yeah. So I asked him again, do you want to tell me that this thing will never end? He said, only God knows.
Oh my goodness, that's an interesting. Let's come home and settle on the sub-region. Too many coup d'etats, I mean, in recent times. We've seen that of Burkina, Guinea, Mali, latest Niger. What could be accounting for all of this?
I wrote thesis in 2001. Okay. And it's still on the net. If you have time, you can read it. Okay. It's confronting military intervention in West Africa. Okay. A case study of Ghana. I had my own passion, but I tried to trace the origin of coups in West Africa and Ghana, and had to travel to about 3 or 4 countries. And it's all because an incumbent, the simple reason is that an incumbent always wants to perpetuate his stay, either directly or indirectly. And because of that, they try to play to draw their supporters to work in that way. And when you do that, you might succeed the first time, the second time, and the third time, the populace will get up. I'll give you one example, because that is past, so I can give it to you. Okay. Nkrumah, in 1966, when he saw that there was so much attacks on his personal being, decided to form President's Own Guards Regiment. Okay. And that Guards Regiment was treated specially. It's like any soldier you find in Jubilee House today. Okay. He's treated specially, he was getting all the things. So their brothers in the barracks started becoming offended, and they started agitating. Yeah. And because in the military, when 2 people come together to do anything, we term it mutiny. Yeah. So you will not get 2 people to act, but you can act individually with the same aim. Yeah. And that was one of the main reasons why Nkrumah was overthrown. Because when the military moved in and they were killing people in Flagstaff House and all those things, it took, the president guards didn't want to surrender. Okay. It took the wife of the president then, that's Fatia, okay, to tell the commander of the guards that stop them, let them stop the killing. My goodness. Because Nkrumah was not in the place, he was somewhere else. and that they were able to overcome them. Now coming to our area, before a coup comes, there are signs that show.
Yep.
First, you see that people are in distress. You go to hospital, there is no medication. You don't have money, you will not be treated. Education will be bazaar, and then you don't know where to place yourself. There will be a lot of people unemployed moving from the rural area into the cities, and then they will start selling and things like that. Because so many of them are in selling, it also creates another problem. So even if you carry ice water, the whole day you might not sell about 10 because there are 50 people selling ice water around you.
True.
So you are not going to get anything. So people become desperate, and when they are desperate, the youth normally don't think about consequences of things. So people become desperate, and when they are desperate, anybody who comes and prepared to stand up and he says follow her, they will follow. That is what normally happens. But the only thing we are praying that coup in Ghana will be a problem. So I don't see a coup happening, but I can see the population, if things continue the same way, the population rising up. So you will be home, they will come. You have eaten, you haven't eaten, whatever you have, give it to us. You are on the road, they will stop you and strip you. You can see signs of it. On the road, they stop people and collect their monies and everything. These are all signs leading that. So we are just very close to the edge of breaking.
This is scary. And of course, in Ghana, we've had cause to panic over terrorist attacks and all of that. I'm not spelling doom, but I'm only being a realist. God forbid that, I mean, anything of that nature will happen in Ghana. But in the event that something of that nature happens, will we be prepared as a country?
It's yes and no. We don't know what the government has put in place in terms of support and other things. But to be honest with you, we will have it tough. We can go in and succeed, we can go in and fail, but it will not be easy.
Okay. Well, back here in Ghana, we are gearing up for the 2024 elections. I see it to be one of the critical elections we're going into, and you know what happens during when political activities gets to the peak, the utterances, I mean the physical attacks and what have you. What should be our guide?
I think that one I will dwell more on the media.
Okay.
Because the media, it's the institution that can hype things and they can also bring things down.
Okay.
So with the election coming, everybody will say election is just go and vote and vote. But the media will also have to make sure that whatever we are reporting, we have checked and checked and checked before we report. I've seen reports, I've been at the sport, I've seen reports from the media which are not exactly what is happening.
Okay.
So at the point, I asked some media man, I said, are you getting paid for this or what?
Okay.
So the media will have to, maybe we'll have to organize a big forum for you and let them see, because when it does happen, that it doesn't go well, it doesn't affect me alone. It affects every other citizen of the country.
Right.
And that will not be good for us. And war can take us so many centuries back. If you go to Lebanon and you see destruction, or Liberia after the war, you see destruction. You go to Western Sahara and see destruction, you will not want to see war.
Also, if you look at what happens on political things like on election day, fights and stuff that happen, mostly it is the politicians who actually, incense their supporters to go into all of that. What do you have for politicians?
For politicians, you can only advise them that, look, what you are doing, you might not even get the power you are looking for.
Definitely.
But another, I talked about the media. The other thing is the police service.
Okay.
The police service will have to do their work they should do.
Okay.
You cannot arrest me and somebody comes 10 minutes and say release him, then you release him. Then you arrest the gentleman there and you hold on to him for 4 days. That is unfair.
Okay.
You should know that the gentleman has friends. His friends, some will be radicals.
Yeah.
So that alone, because police in Ghana, how many are you? You are not more than 50 or 60,000.
Yeah.
So if we say all the people in Tema or Accra gets up one day and want to chase all the police in a place, they will finish all of you.
Yeah.
But because they know that the police is also us, somebody's mother, somebody's sister, somebody's brother. So people at times put checks in their way. But the police should be seen doing the right thing. That's all.
Well, enough of the security situations, and let's talk about you, Commodore Michael Kweku Addison, retired. You joined the Ghana Navy in 1976 after leaving school both in Ghana and in the UK. Share with me your experiences.
My life in Ghana was a bit tough because I came from a family. I always quote my mother. She says, I don't have a classmate. So she never saw school. And my father was also very old.
Okay.
So it got to a point we had to virtually be helping my mother to do all the house chores.
Okay.
I had to sell on the streets to help my mother.
Okay.
I had to sell kerosene in the evening on my head.
Wow.
I told somebody that I should go home and pour kerosene on his head, small, and see the reaction. He came back, he said, what, and you were selling this? I said, yeah, that is an experience for you. But I put myself in that situation that I think I should lift myself off this situation and help. Fortunately, I could learn. Even though I had to learn before I get no. So when I was about to go to secondary school, I told my father that he should make sure he pays the first admission fees and the first term fees.
Okay.
But the school fees, I will make sure I get bursary throughout.
Okay.
So I carried bursary from Form 1 to Form 5.
Wow.
And I had to justify the bursary.
Okay.
And from there, I also worked when I'm on holidays or long vac and things. So I was a very quiet young man. So I entered GSTS, where I attended my secondary school in Takoradi.
Okay.
And I became the school prefect before leaving the school.
Wow. Wow.
My plan was basically to go to Tech.
Okay.
Then I heard that the Navy was asking people who want to join to come and they would take them to do engineering. That was my dream.
Okay.
So I said, why don't I join the Navy and do engineering? So we did the exam, and we were many, over 400, the whole country. Okay. And we got to know that the Navy was going to take 8.
Only 8 out of 400. My goodness.
And God willing, I happened to be one of the 8.
You were one of the 8.
I didn't know anybody.
Wow.
So they took us to the now Maritime University.
Yeah.
And whilst there, we were called one day and told that 3 of you are going to UK.
Oh.
So the going will depend on your performance.
Okay.
And God being so good again, I was one of the 3 that were sent.
You are blessed.
So that moved me from
Ghana to
doing Ghana to UK. I got to UK in 1977 December.
Okay.
And that moved me from trying to be an engineering officer, because somebody senior advised me that, you know, you take it and go, into becoming the driving executive officer, in short, driving ships.
Okay.
So I stayed in the Navy and served the armed forces for 39 years, 6 months. So somebody says, say 40. And I have always believed something I learned from the elderly people who are my mentor, and I go to them. They always tell me, wherever you go, leave a mark.
Yeah.
If people don't see it today, they will see it tomorrow.
Okay.
So when I got to a rank of captain, I saw that when military personnel leave the service, their lives become so bad, no planning. So I introduced the Provident Fund into the Ghana Armed Forces.
Okay.
And now, when I see soldiers who are there, they see me, they are running. And at that time, I said you should only contribute 5%. I went to my commanders, the CDS, and he gave me go ahead. So I did it.
Okay.
Right now, there is no soldier or officer who is contributing less than 21%. Because the money is your money.
Yeah.
It will come back to you. And then in writing up the rules for the use of the money, I got hold of an actuary, and Mr. Oseakutu did very well for us. So you can ask for part of your money after some service.
Yeah.
That aside, I had to be the Deputy Defense Advisor in London,
Yeah.
which either by deed or hard work or what, I cannot say, but I was there. And everybody did about 3 years. I stayed 4.5 years.
Okay.
Because
of your hard work.
When I came to Ghana, the Navy tasked me to open a training command and become the first commander. And there was no school, nothing.
Okay.
I was only given an office. And today I can say that I established the training command at Sugakope. If you happen to visit, there's a very big school.
Okay.
I had to locate the land, talk to the chiefs, and then we went in.
Okay.
So after doing that, I left the Navy.
But in 1982 and 2000, you held many appointments.
Yes.
I mean, in both shore and afloat.
Yes.
So, I mean, in a nutshell, how would you describe that moment?
It was very challenging, and I kept on moving from place. At that time, the Navy had almost 10 or 8 ships, and you're surprised to know that I commanded all of them.
Wow, you did that.
I commanded all of them. I trained a lot of officers.
Wow.
And within that same period you have called to now, in 1990,
Yeah.
I was sent to the military academy as an instructor.
Okay.
Surprisingly, the second in command was taken away, and I had to act as second in command for 2.5 years.
Okay.
So a lot of the generals you see here passed through my hands.
Oh, wow. That's incredible.
And I didn't do law, but I was forced to learn law.
That's all cost.
Yeah, that is it. And there were a lot of appointments I held, and also
because I know you rose through the ranks. You became a naval captain, director in different capacities.
Yeah.
You became a naval advisor to the Ghana High Commission in the UK. Then, I mean, there are a lot. I just want you to tell me in all of these, what was the take home for you?
I learned a lot, and maybe that has kept me going till now.
Okay.
And one thing I always say is that time is nothing. Anybody should play it. And when I motivate young men, I tell them, young women, I said, the time you have, the time is now.
Yeah.
And so if you are going to school and somebody is paying, it's the best thing that can happen in your life. But if you have to go to school and pay yourself, you will see how life is.
Yeah.
So use your time profitably, and any chance that came your way, take it. And how would you be able to take the chance? You have to prepare yourself.
Definitely.
If you prepare yourself and a chance comes, you will see that you can take it and nobody will even question it. But if you have not prepared yourself, it will be a problem for you to take it.
You also served on 3 UN missions.
Yes.
The UNIFIL, the UNICOM, and the MINOSO.
So,
in what capacities?
I always get there. I went first to UNIFIL in 1995, I think.
Okay.
When I went, I met my chief military personnel officer. After 3 months, he was taken away.
Okay.
So I had to be the chief military personnel officer. Nobody came till I finished my tour.
Okay.
So I was the chief military officer for all the forces operating there.
Okay.
That is why I had an office in Lebanon and I had an office in Israel.
Okay.
So I could go left or right anytime. So I got to know Israel very well.
Yeah.
Then I went to MINOSO also as a military observer.
Yeah.
I don't know what transpired at their headquarters in, we call the place Laayoune, near Morocco.
Okay.
And I was called and told that you are going to be a team site in leader. And that area called Ombrega was the biggest team site.
Okay.
So I became a team site leader in the middle of the desert, where you can go for hours and miles. You don't see anything.
Anybody.
You only see sand. You don't see road. You don't
manage this.
But as a military man, you have to adopt.
Definitely.
Then the UNICOM. After the American Second Gulf War, I was sent to Kuwait and Iraq. And there's a small waterway between Kuwait and it runs by Iraq and runs all the way to Iran. That's where all the ships coming from Iran passes.
Okay.
So I was given that area as my area of operation. Then UN decided that they want to have water operation, so they want to monitor the waterway and things like that.
Yeah.
And that also fell on me to establish that unit there.
Okay.
So I established the unit for patrolling the water. And when you establish, you have to do costing, bring everything that you need for the place to function. Then they will sign it, and when it's approved, they will bring it down.
What will you describe as your biggest challenge in holding all these positions?
The biggest challenge I ever had was when I was commanding officer at Chimota.
Okay.
And around Sekeni Harbour, there was a boy which has shifted towards the breakwater. And my boss called me and said, I've tried, nobody wants to attempt to move that boy from that position because they think the ship will hit.
Yeah.
So can you do it?
Hey.
I said, sir, if you order me, I will do it.
Wow, you were that daring.
Then he said, go and do it. So I went and sat my men down. I told them what we were going to do, what each should do. And we went and executed. Meanwhile, he was standing at the top of Sekeni Nebaris watching us. So we moved the boy to the position we came. And I can remember he ordered that they should give us 6 cartons of beer.
Oh my goodness. For a good job then.
But it was very challenging because the wind was blowing, and if you are not careful, you hit the ship against the... You see, ship, when you stop the engine, it's the wind that takes charge, and the current, the water.
Yeah.
So before you stop, you have to do some calculation and stop at a good place that before the wind moves you would have finished what you are doing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you don't stop well, by the time you finish doing what you are doing, it has taken you on the rock and you remain there. So you have given them another problem.
It really takes a lot of expertise and strategy
and practicing
to be able to do that. And you did it.
And we did it. So
wow.
That was it.
Wow, congratulations. Commodore Michael Kweku Addison retired, my guest tonight on PM Personality Profile. When I return from this break, we will get into his skin proper and know who he really is. I would also be picking his thoughts on whether the moral fabric of this country has been destroyed and whether we will ever get the opportunity to fix it. Would also gauge his mood on his lifestyle and family values. Stay with me. I'm coming right back. Welcome back to PM Personality Profile. My guest is Commodore Michael Kweku Addison, retired. He is an international security and military relations consultant and also a maritime security expert. Remember, he's also a motivational speaker. Where exactly do you hail from in Ghana?
My mother is from Anamabu, in the central region. But my father was from Enum. But
all the way in Ikwapim.
But the mother from Cape Coast. So the mother moved him to live with her in Cape Coast. My father was with the electricity company of Ghana. So he kept on moving around. So my mother and the kids settled in Takoradi.
In Takoradi. So that's where you were born?
I was born in Sekondi.
In Sekondi. And is that where you grew up?
Sekondi, I was born there. I started school there, but class 3 I had moved to Takoradi.
Okay. Tell me about growing up in Takoradi. In Takoradi, I know life is very expensive.
Growing up in Takoradi in the 60s and the 70s, Takoradi was very, very peaceful. And if you wanted to enjoy life, you go to Takoradi. Because all the ships, even though Temahabo was had just been finished, and almost all the ships were docking at Takoradi. It was in Takoradi I saw a passenger liner for the first time in my life. Until I grew and I saw many outside. So Takoradi was a place where you have a lot of seamen. So that also became a challenge for a lot of the parents. Every child wants to go to sea, because if he goes to sea, he will travel.
That was
their perception. So they are not thinking about the education, they just want to go to sea. Because you see somebody around with you, he goes to sea for about 6 months, 8 months, he comes and his life has changed. So how would you tell the next young person that
you should go to school?
You should go to school. You are wasting his time. It says that is how Takoradi was. And then because there were a lot of seamen, the slanging and the way Kofi Kinata talks is the way they talk there. That's how they talk. Yeah, that's how they talk there. So anybody who has lived in Takoradi in those days to even some few years ago, when he talks, you know that this person is from Takoradi. When we were young, it was all fun, because me personally, my seniors in school were all playing music. So I always go and listen to them. Even when I became an officer, I go and listen to them. Because Sikema was my senior, Jeroaka was my classmate, he was playing drums in the classroom, and so they were just around us.
Did you ever also feel like you wanted to be a musician, or you wanted to travel outside the country? What did you really want to become?
Surprisingly, I never had that urge to travel out. Until today, if I go out, after 5 days, I want to come back.
You want to come back home? Home sweet home.
Yes. So when I became a diplomat, it was a big challenge for me.
Staying outside your country.
No, I don't like it.
You don't like it? Why? Is it because you don't get the local dishes, or?
Oh, the local dishes, you can get them anywhere you go. It's just that they might be expensive. But I'm the type who wants to be home.
To be home.
That is all the reason I can give you.
So growing up, what did you want to become?
My uncle took me to Harbour when I was a very young boy. And he was a truck driver. So every Saturday when I'm not doing anything, I was in a primary school, he would carry me to, I'll go and sit in the truck and then we'll go in. Until I did something and he stopped taking me. Because I was so curious. So one day he took me and he was taking a nap. When he came, I had gone kneeling on the back of the truck and trying to catch a fish which is moving in the water. He got frightened. Then he took me away and I never had the opportunity to go with him again. So I was very keen in going to sea, but as a marine engineer. And that is why I told you somewhere along, it didn't work that way. So I moved into driving shifts.
Which is also still
So
obviously, right?
Yes.
But at that tender age, when you say your mother says she's not seeing a classmate, she doesn't have a classmate because she never went to school. Daddy was working with electricity corporation. That means he was a bit okay.
Yes.
Were there challenges?
There were challenges because my daddy retired when I was just about to enter secondary school.
Oh my goodness.
That is why I've always been telling young people that never have a child after 40.
Okay.
If I tell you, then add 40, add 20 to your 40 age.
Makes it 60.
If the child is now entering university, how are you going to care for that child? Because you are leaving active service.
Yes.
So I always tell people that if you want to have children, have them between 30 all the way to 40.
And
or if you can, 20 something, if you can afford.
Yeah. So how did you cope with the situation?
That's why I had to be selling for my mother. I go to the market, I sell for her. Every holiday I'm selling in the market. So I became a darling boy to all the women in the market. Because they were so pleased to see me doing that. So I became a darling boy to all the women in the market.
That's quite interesting. And let's talk about secondary school life. Which secondary school was that?
I went to Government Secondary Technical School in Takoradi, now GSTS, Ghana Secondary Technical School.
Okay. How was the environment? How would you describe it?
At the time I entered, the school was about, we were saying it was the best school in Ghana because, because the school was well furnished. You know, technical education was not very common.
Yeah.
So you go to the workshop and you see all the machines. You go everywhere you go.
Okay.
And then in the dormitory too, the equipment were there from Form 1 to Form 4. So my physics master was a white man.
Okay.
You see?
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, and all of them. It was much later that the Ghanaian integration became more.
Okay. What kind of a student were you?
I was quite, not reserved, but very quiet. And when you provoke me, I react.
Okay. So in secondary school, did you ever get into trouble?
I never fought anybody because I knew if I fought, I would be sacked.
Okay, but not because you couldn't fight them.
I can fight, but I will not fight.
Okay.
Maybe that is why finally I had to end up as a school prefect.
Okay, so you ended up as a school prefect. How would you describe the discipline, the teaching and learning environment?
Yes, the teaching and learning environment was very good, and discipline was so high. So some of us, when we finally entered the military, we didn't see too much difference because when in secondary school, at 9 o'clock, if you are Form 1, Form 2, the dormitory for them, there should not be any light on. And if you put the light on, you will regret. And so that discipline kept with us, and we were all trying to comport and do what we had to do. But in every school, there will be one or two characters who are already in their own level before they came. So it becomes difficult. And some too were very old. Because it's the secondary technical. Some came in when they were in Form 1, they were about 17. So you can see that they are old. And then some of us with 15, 16, you are looked at as a small boy.
Yeah, that's true. But did they try to bully you?
Oh, Form 1 they will bully you. Form 1 is automatic.
So you had your fair share of the bullying?
Everybody. You can't escape it.
Do you remember any of the instances that you were bullied that you really even regretted coming to school?
It's not regretted, but I felt so sad. When, you see, the school is an oval-shaped thing. And then one of my seniors went and put a bucket in the middle of the school and gave me a spoon, a ladder. And he said, just fill the bucket. After that, go and sleep.
Can you imagine? From where?
Wherever you pick the water from, go and pour it in the bucket.
Mean. So what did you do?
To do at the point, somebody had to save me.
Oh
Somebody senior to me said, stop and go away. You should come and see me. You can't.
Wow. And what did you do to this senior?
No, he said I think it's connected with his bed sheet and he wanted me to wash it. Okay. And I forgot.
And you had to pay for that?
Pay for that. That's
oh
how it
my
happens.
Goodness, I can imagine. So you never got into any trouble while
No, I never had any trouble in school, any trouble in the military.
The boys who would always want to run away from school without exit. Some will just scale the wall and go to this school.
We are having that activity going on in school, but some of us will not go.
Okay.
You see, I told you I know where I came from.
Definitely.
And I have to make sure I stay in school.
Very, very important.
So that I can go on.
So you never associated yourself with all those bad boys.
And because I was quiet, when they are even going to, they won't even call me. So they leave this boy alone.
He will come and preach us.
I'll come and spoil their action. That is what is happening.
Interesting. So, but climbing to the top, definitely, I know there are also highs and low moments. I want you to share with me.
The journey to the top, I cannot say it has been so easy. Would you believe me if I tell you that I've had kidney transplant?
Wow.
Since 2010. You will not see any sign on it.
Nothing, definitely.
And will you believe
so
again,
healthy.
if I tell you, God being so good, the donor was my wife.
Wow.
So these are the surprises I'm giving you.
What love is all about.
So what God has put together, let no man put.
Definitely no man can put asunder. Wow.
And I never felt sick. I was there one day. I came out of my car and I started feeling dizzy.
Oops.
So I called one of my staff, Abu, come. Okay, I said, Abu, I'm feeling dizzy. Just be by me. I want to go to the office. Okay. As soon as we went to the office, I called a doctor. I was then in UK. Okay. I called a doctor called Konete Aholu. Okay. I said, Doc, he was our doctor. Yeah. I have a problem. He said, what did I told him? He said, oh, let me see. So he came, and even that week I was traveling with a team to go and check some things. Okay. So he brought me some sample bottles. I gave some sample and said, I was there when he called me after coming back that, do you know you have a problem? I said, you don't know. Okay. Then he said, I'm making you go and see this person. Okay. So he arranged for me to meet a consultant, and the consultant told me, oh, let's do a few tests and see. He said, oh, Michael, then you call me Commodore again. He said, you'll be lucky to go past me.
Oh my goodness.
If you don't do anything or you don't go on dialysis.
My goodness.
I said, what? He said, yes. I'm being very honest with you.
Wow.
Because my creatinine was running around 1,570.
Goodness me. God has been so good.
Yeah, so he told me, and I said, okay, I'll go and tell my wife. I came and I told my wife that this is what the doctor has said. All she said is, so I said, I have nothing to say.
I have
up to me. And then he said, if anybody will have to donate a kidney for you, it will be me. She said it straight like that.
My goodness, she didn't think about it.
She just said it. So I took her to go and meet the doctor.
Wow.
And he got there and said, Dr. Palmer, I've come. I will donate for my husband. Palmer said, it's not so. You have to be siblings or twins or relation or a child. Or he said, I'm telling you that I will do it. So the doctor said, if you insist, then we'll carry out tests on you. And they did all the series of tests. And you'll be surprised to know, the margin was So close that he asked whether we were twins or siblings.
Goodness, God. No, she's just God sent.
Then he said, no, I don't have any relationship except being my wife.
Oh, my
So she
goodness.
donated.
God bless
And
her.
Today, anytime she goes for a checkup, they tell her that her kidney is working 200%.
Oh my God, this is the
Because
doing of
the
God.
the creatinine is very low.
This is good.
So that is a big challenge that came in my life.
This is
And I
good.
thought that was the end.
Oh my goodness, and here you are, very
13
healthy.
years after.
Oh my goodness. I mean, nobody would even believe you are 70.
I was 70 May.
Goodness, very, very inspiring. God has really been good to you. Let me ask you this, and I said this before I went on that break. Your position on our moral fabric, do you think it's been destroyed as a country?
Yes, because our family system has broken down. If you say it's breaking, me, I say it's broken.
Okay.
Go to a house today and you see that the family is not together as when you were young, you were with your mother. First, because of mobile phone. You go to a house, you see the father sitting at one corner
With his
phone. The wife sitting, the child, boy sitting here, girl sitting there. And
everybody on their
but
phones.
but they are in the same family. You ask a question, they will just raise their head and answer and go back to the phone.
Yeah.
So that togetherness is breaking. Then because of foreign influence too.
Yeah.
You see, they were envious of our culture, the togetherness. Because when I was young, if my mother should send me to go and buy something, and I go and play somewhere, Mr. Mason, who stays along the line, see me playing, he will beat me. Before I come home, Mr. Mason has already reported to my father or my mother, and then they will beat me again. But now, if you see somebody's child doing something bad, and you try to correct, you'll be home. It will not be that they are coming to beat the child, though. The mother is coming to beat you
for touching the child.
It's happening in schools.
Yeah.
A teacher, some of the teachers also go to the extreme. Then they go and come and beat you. Yeah. So that, in effect, is affecting our moral fabric and it's affecting our society.
True.
But it's not all lost, as far as I'm concerned. We can use our churches and our imams and things, a mosque, and to try and bring that thing back, because they want it, they can't get it. So we should not lose it completely. And we should also control, as parents, control the use of these equipment. I was telling somebody here that if you give a child a phone and he's watching cartoons and you don't put checks on it, the child will not study anything apart from looking at cartoons.
Yeah. True.
So when our boys, now they are all men. Our men were living as our boys. Yeah. Nobody watches TV from Monday to Friday.
Wow.
Friday evening, time to watch TV. So I always provided one TV at one side.
Okay.
For you to watch. You can die with the TV, I don't care.
Once it's Friday.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday evening,
you
the TV.
Watching TV.
You cease.
Okay.
It's to help them to know that it's nothing that I should spend all my time on.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you see, in church room, in the house, you don't check the child.
Yeah.
Then he comes to church and he's doing, and the phone is singing and things. Then you want to stop him. You can't do it.
You can't. You can't.
You can't do it.
Yeah.
So part is us, the parents. Part is the society itself, and part the gadgets which are coming.
As a motivational speaker, what will be your advice for the young ones out there?
Oh, anytime I speak to young people, I tell them that you should divide the life, or your life, into 4 segments. The first is when you are born till 20. Somebody is providing everything for you. So you use your time profitably. Yeah. From 20 or 25, when you start working, you should start learning how to save.
Yeah.
You should start learning how to save. And if you are not taught how to save, try and teach your children how to save.
Yeah.
So, by the time you are about 35, you might have married. Then think about how many children do we need.
Yeah.
Don't say that this person has had 5, so I'm also going to have 5.
Yeah.
Would you be able to look after them?
Yeah.
So decide on how many children you want.
Yeah.
Then between you and your husband, you should know that your husband after 45, he will not have any strength. At 45, he's still a young man. But if you add 20 to the 45, he will be 65. He will not have any strength to generate more money.
Yeah.
So you should finish your children by the time you are hitting 40. So that you spend the rest of the time working on where you will stay and live, and then how you are going to also live comfortably after you are 60.
Yeah.
That is very important.
Very important.
That is far more important than saying that, oh, my children will come and look after me. Me, I don't look up to any child. I don't look up to any child. We have always told ourselves, look,
True.
Start your life, as I've told you, make your money. Use your money, save some for yourself. Don't think about me.
Yeah.
But if you yourself think you have excess and you want to dash me a car,
That's fine.
I will receive it. But I will never tell you buy me a car.
Okay.
But you see, some of us, the parents, we also expect too much
From the children.
children.
Yeah.
Hey, me the musical show.
It's
You to come back and look
take
after me.
Yeah.
But
And
maybe
if they disappoint you,
he
then
might not be in the position to do that. Then you are forcing him to find other means, which might be wrong.
Yeah.
So my advice is just that take your plan. And if you and your children, if you want to teach your children how to behave, it's simple.
Yeah.
That's how my father taught me.
Yeah.
Get a money box
Okay.
for every child.
Okay.
That one is to all of you. A money box for every child.
Okay.
When somebody gives him money or her money, put it in, put it in, put it in. On the 26th of December, you call all of them. Everybody is going to open his money box.
Okay.
When you open yours and you have 50 cedis, I'll add 150.
To buy you a shoe.
I'll add 150 so that you have 200 cedis.
Okay.
When we open yours and you have 2 cedis, I'll add another 2 cedis for you, or 250, 2 cedis 50 pesos. So it becomes a challenge.
Yeah.
I will beat you.
Definitely.
And that is how you learn how to save.
Okay.
So when he needs money, he won't go for
you
it.
don't go for it.
So that is what I will live with you.
Thank you so much. And having talked about teaching children how to save, and what kind of a father are you? I can see already that you're a strict father.
Oh, I play with them. I play with them.
How many of them?
There are 5 boys.
5 solid boys.
Now
No
5
girl.
men.
No
5
girl.
men.
Oh, that explains why you must be very strict.
Their mother is stricter than me.
I can imagine.
She is stricter
Wow.
than me.
So you play with them when you have to?
Yes, you come and see us playing. Even this compound, you come and put things and we are playing.
Okay.
When you have to work too, nobody tells you. Everybody will get up and go and do what he has to do.
Wow.
So they can all do the house chores.
Okay.
Nobody will do it for you.
For you, yeah. Of course, you helped your mother.
Yes, so you also learn it for your own self.
So
What about if you are married
Yeah.
and they post you somewhere and you have to leave your family and go?
And go. How
You
would
get up and you don't make your bed, you walk and go to work like that. After 3 days, you wouldn't want to enter your room because you eat too and put it in the kitchen.
Definitely, and there's nobody there to
Nobody
pick it up
to do
for
it,
you.
so you wouldn't want to enter your own room.
And I'm sure your wife has been a very supporting woman. I mean, I need no
She
control.
is. I must be honest with you.
Aww.
Even when the going is tough, she'll be urging me on that do it. And she's a very good organizer.
I know.
So that one you can't take it away from her.
Oh.
She likes doing things for people and for everybody. So the little kids who call her grandma party.
She organizes party for them. Oh, thank you so much. We thank her and God bless her for us. And I also want to thank you so much for all your contribution. I mean, you talk about the Ghana Armed Forces and all the things you've been able to do. God bless you for your contribution to Mother Ghana. Do you do any form of exercise?
I play golf and I swim.
Oh, that
just these two.
That explains why. You look very healthy, I must say.
And I walk my dogs too from time to time.
Oh, that's very good. Well, you're on retirement. What do you do to relax?
Oh, we sit home and a lot of young women come and visit me. Men come in and at times we share their problem and we also meet here and that's how they call her grandma party.
They do parties. Interesting. But you also listen to music sometimes.
Yes, I love music.
What genre of music do you love?
I like jazz music a lot.
Okay.
But when it comes to a song, when I say it, people get surprised. Why that song?
Okay.
Iron Boy. Oh, you had it on your phone already.